shove. Possession is the motivation that is hanging up the goddamn nation. Looks like they always end up in a rut. Everybody now trying to make it real compared to what? Come on, baby.
Hello everybody, I'm Dan Pascucci and welcome to another exciting edition of Everything But the Kitchen Sink, Mansfield Cable Access's premier talk show within our time slot. It is again a pleasure to be here in the beautiful Mansfield Cable Access studios, which if you're into that kind of thing, this is the place to be there. So this is where you want to be to make your cable access, make yourself be very good on television. We have, as always, our great director Jack O'Neill working the buttons, the gizmos, doing his Wizard of Oz impersonation in the back room, and he makes us look good every week, and we want to say hi to Jack. Also, if you want to get a hold of us in any way, shape, or form, you can do so on our email address at mansfieldkitchensink@gmail.com, and right there in front of your screen, just like Jack puts it there all the time. He is so good at that. And also, we are on Facebook under the group section, Everything But the Kitchen Sink, courtesy of our good friend Eddie Gato. Just a couple of real quick things, because we got a great show tonight with a great guest, and I want to get right to it. But I will give a little shout out to the MIAA Division II Super Bowl champion Mansfield Hornets. Yes, they did their thing. They made us all proud, and they're going to continue making people proud, because next week in this very studio, we're going to have Coach Redding. We're going to have your world champion, your Super Bowl champion, Mansfield Hornets, along with the coaching staff, and they're going to be making their television debut off the field to you. So we look forward to that. As we did a lot of work previously with the election, the big election, and we had a lot of candidates here and hosted a lot of candidates, and we tried to fit as many in as possible. We weren't not able to fit in as many as we could, time-wise. We just couldn't fit them all in, and they all wanted to come on, and that with good reason, because this is a good place to do that. One of the candidates that was unable to make it, he was out of the district, running a very, very tight race against a very powerful incumbent, was Mr. Tom Keyes, who was with us tonight, and he ran against present Senate President Treese Murray, and down in Barnstable, Plymouth, and he's with us. I'd like to welcome you.
Thank you, Dan.
Welcome to the kitchen. I'm glad you could make it. People like to say that close only counts in darts, horseshoes, and hand grenades, but you came real close.
It was the closest race for running for Senate across the state. So we're very pleased with the results. In that we got 48% of the vote. That's pleased. Considering it's Massachusetts, considering we're running against what arguably could be the most powerful political figure in Massachusetts outside the governorship. So we're happy with the results, and we're not done yet.
Well, that's good. Well, it's good to know that you're not done yet, because that's going to be another question as we go on here. You ran a great race. As a lot of us know, make no secret that I'm a Tea Party member, and I was very upset with the Senate President's remarks about Tea Party members, and there was a video of her playing on her talking down and making some very insulting remarks. That actually spurred a Facebook group page that hoping that she is not reelected to the President of the Senate, and in fact, I know who started that. It was me. And so we're trying to build a little steam on that and get some action on that. We can't stop someone from being elected and being a senator, but the other senators should be able to stop, say, hey, wait, maybe this is not the best person to be representing us. So we do have, some things in common as far as maybe not being so warm to the Senate President.
Well, we like to say she's everyone's senator, considering that she holds the position of leading all 40 of the senators. So she does have an impact on all the communities, even outside the Plymouth and Barnstable district.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We're finding that out now because
yes, we are.
We're finding it out now. We found out a lot about it with this probation department scandal. This is going to be the latest thing to rock the waters.
Did that come a little too late?
Yeah, you know what? Better late than never.
But a couple weeks earlier, it could have changed the outcome of a lot of the Massachusetts races. We ran a race based on anti-corruption and transparency, And then to see this hit, a couple of weeks after the race, we would say, oh boy, if only.
Right.
But that's water under the bridge.
Well, it is, but it isn't. I mean, this is, I guess, events are unfolding daily, as they say,
Yeah.
and now the implications are getting closer and closer to the top, and it's, it's going to be something. And apparently the fall guy in all this was the leader of the probation department. Apparently, this guy kept notes.
It sounds like he kept an awful lot of notes. What we just heard, 100 thank you letters were saved.
Yeah, some of them from
was
people
smart on his behalf.
Some of them were from people that were actually bashing him for what he was doing.
That's correct.
So I don't think the end. I think the end is still quite a ways off here.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's go back to your district. And now your district is.
It's the Plymouth and Barnstable Senate District, which makes up 8 towns. And so it's a split of 4 towns on Cape, 4 towns off Cape.
Right.
And off Cape, you're looking at Plymouth, Plimpton, Pembroke, and Plymouth, Plimpton, Pembroke, and Kingston.
Yep.
And on Cape, it's Bourne, Sandwich, Falmouth, and West Barnstable.
Right, now that side's closed for the winter, right?
Yeah, well, we do kind of roll up the sidewalks a little early when it gets cold.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Now, so that's quite an area. That's quite a landmass.
It is. It's a large, and it's not as if you would call a block. It's kind of long and drawn out from Falmouth to Pembroke. It actually goes from exit 12 off Cape all the way down to the tip of Falmouth. So it's a pretty long, and don't forget, we also have a canal down the middle of it, and 2 dysfunctional bridges. So there's some logistics of running this race.
Yeah, no, we had Sean Belat here, and we also had Marty Lamb here, so they know all about kind of weird looking shaped districts and geography and whatnot.
Looks like we're about to be getting into some more redistricting that's going to be coming up next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the gerrymandering goes.
Yeah, I know. It's too bad that it comes down to that. Maybe they can straighten it out a little bit, but I won't hold my breath.
No,
they're going to make it as best they can for themselves and as hard and difficult as they can for folks like you who want to go in and try to make some changes. Mm-hmm. Now, you ran. What was your big platform now? What was your big platform?
Well, we ran on 2 things, which was based on my background. I've spent the past 13 years in public service. Spent 4 years on the Economic Development Committee as a volunteer, 2 of those years as its chairman. Then I decided to throw my hat in the ring and ran, and I spent 6 years on the Board of Selectmen, 2 years, again, as chairman of the board. And after that, I went for the Assembly of Delegates, which is the regional government, which is the legislative branch of the regional government on Barnstable County. And I'm currently the deputy speaker there. So what do you do with all of that local and municipal experience? Well, you go for another position. In the interim, I was also, 6 years as a cemetery commissioner.
How many voters did you actually meet there, I wonder? Oh, no, this isn't Chicago. Never mind. I'm sorry.
It could have helped if I was maybe affiliated with a different group in a different region of the state or in the country.
Yeah, because people vote.
So, you take all of that local experience. There really isn't too many boards or committees that I haven't been on. Plus, I was the president of the Selectmen and Councilors Association, which represented 95 elected officials in 15 towns. And so I've been involved in everything that's been the hot button issues.
Right. How long were you president for that?
For that group, I was 2 years.
2 years.
But I was on their board of directors for 4.
Wow, very nice. Yeah. So you've got, and these are all non-paying positions.
Well, no, the Board of Selectmen paid $1,500 a year.
Really? Don't say that. Mansfield, they don't pay our selectmen here.
Well, considering it'll probably cost you about $3,000 to do the job.
Yeah.
It just keeps my wife from getting too angry about me doing it.
No, we have some of the selectmen on from time to time, and it's a tough job, and it's gotten a lot better in Mansfield because they've gotten some new people at the top, and it's worked out really well.
It's what you can make of it, but that's where the rubber meets the road. I mean, that's you're with your constituents all the time. It's not like when you get the disconnect of county or state government where you're up at Beacon Hill or you're somewhere else, but when you're a selectman, you are right in the middle of it, and every decision made, you've got 50% happy, 50% possibly unhappy. So you still got to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm just looking here. So I'm just reading a couple of things here off some of the my notes here, but you have been very, very busy with community service.
Very active. But, you know, at the same time, I've also had my own practice. I'm an efficiency consultant.
Oh, very
I'm
nice.
also an ethics and compliance
You
officer.
got no business being in the government.
Well, you know, that's what I said.
Efficiency in government, that's...
Every time I walked into town hall, the little hairs in the back of my neck, you know, they stuck straight out.
Wow.
And we did make a lot of changes in the town of Sandwich to, you know, coordinate some of our efforts. And we're happy to say that Sandwich has the lowest number of municipal employees per capita of all the 15 towns on Cape Cod.
Do you get it done there?
We get it done.
You
It's
get it
not that
done?
we're not getting anything done. Our schools are top rated within 10% of the state. It's just a matter of using that efficiency mindset in all decisions that are being made and putting together long-range plans. No more short-term thinking. That happens too much in government. They think about what's right in front of them. Well, yes, you have to vote on it, but how's it going to affect your expenditures 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, and what else does it affect? And not enough people do that, and that's disappointing sometimes.
Would you call that short-sighted thinking when they do that, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sometimes government doesn't think past lunch.
Sometimes that's all they think about. But again, that was, you know, a lot of people tried to get some new people in, you know, look at things a little differently. Apparently the greater electorate decided, you know, against that.
Well,
You know, but I think now they're you know, again, I think Monday morning quarterbacking is coming into play now, and there's a lot of people wondering what the heck they just did.
well, my experience as a lead auditor since 1994 and being an ethics and compliance officer, where I actually work with federal organizations and local organizations, government bodies, and I work with the large companies that have had either had an issue where they have to enter into a settlement agreement, and I'll come in and I'll work with their board of directors to make the culture of corruption go away. Or if it's just the board of directors wants to go in a different direction. You know, they want that to be that corporate citizen, where sometimes companies get into trouble.
Right.
That's the work that I do. I take out that culture of corruption.
Well, speaking of trouble, let's talk about one of our favorite subjects, and that's ethics.
Ethics.
That's a strong.
Yes.
Yeah, see that? I could tell in your voice that.
What I do.
That's what you do, and this is what you wanted to bring to the table. Apparently, now that we, you know, again, hindsight's 20/20, but it looks like there's some ethical questions coming up, and that's just one.
Absolutely.
That's just one example. This probation thing. I mean, that's one they caught.
You know, the first rule of ethics is guard against the perception. If something can be perceived as unethical or a conflict, then you should either guard against it, educate the stakeholders, whether it be the public or your employees, or you just don't do it anymore. You guard against it. And, you know, you hear about certain legislators helping people get a job, should we say, I'm being kind, giving letters of recommendation. Well, that can be perceived as a conflict, and they shouldn't be doing that type of thing. That is called patronage. And you should always guard against all those issues of patronage, kickback. The perception is sometimes worse than the reality, but in the world of ethics auditing, you need to guard against that perception, because if people perceive it as unethical and your stakeholders are the general public, well, then you better stop doing that.
Right.
And that's where we're at right now.
Well, I mean, and there's so many things now. We just had the sheriff had the
Yes,
And-
very unfortunate
very
situation.
unfortunate situation, and not picking on anybody. I'm just saying he was what they call a double dip, but apparently it's not illegal.
No, it wasn't illegal.
I mean, so there's your problem.
Correct.
And it's got nothing to do with that individual. You know, I guess people don't realize that in 2009, the Senate under current President Patrice Murray passed the ethics reform. Okay,
yes.
now this is the ethics reform. Okay, and you know, and that's their big highlight is they went out and they said, you know, we passed some ethics reform. They throw that word around a little bit too much.
The question is, why did they do it? Why? Because the Senate was in trouble because of all that happened with Diane Wilkerson and with the drunkards, with the different people getting indicted. They had to do something because the public was screaming at them.
Right.
And so they put together a commission and they put together ethics reform. The problem is what they did is they didn't reform their internal policies. They reformed